I spent my whole damn life in the city. I could go for broke, but the capital is in me. I spent my whole damn life in the city. Anywhere I go, DC's coming with me. I spent my whole damn life in the city. I could go for broke, but the capital is in me. I spent my whole damn life in the city. Anywhere I go, DC's coming with me. I spent my whole damn life in the city. I could go for broke, but the capital is in me.
Welcome, everyone, to District Divided, a DC sports podcast, more specifically a Commanders podcast, and increasingly, more recently, a Wizards podcast. I am Amit. That is my co-host, K-Dot. It has been a while, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
And you're frozen.
Yeah, I just talked about how... Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can absolutely hear you. Please continue.
Yeah, so me just talking about how I bought this new old computer from eBay and how it's not giving me any fucking issues has been phenomenal for a while, and now all of a sudden, oh hey, I got no camera.
Yeah, well, but the still image is there and you look great. And we got 3 topics today that we wanted to get to. So the Wizards' new direction, of course, they made a lot of trades. We talked about it in the last video with Max, who was a guest co-host, but we want K-Dot's opinion on it as well. Then we're going to talk about the Commanders. Is it okay to be optimistic this coming season? It's a big question, because there are not a lot of expectations, but can you be excited about it? Welcome back, K-Dot. And then we got to talk about the White Party with Michael Rubin. Josh Harris, Commanders owner-to-be. July 20th is when that vote occurs with the NFL league's owners. And so hopefully at that time, everyone is just like, yeah, sounds good. Let's do it. But he was at the White Party. We're going to talk about that a little bit. K-Dot, are you ready? We always have the comment mailbag at the end and after the pod. Are you sure you're ready this time?
I think so. Then we had the discussion about how my highlight, so I just had to move the window behind the camera.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing happening over
How
here.
much was this computer again?
$220.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. All right, why don't we go ahead and get started? The Wizards' new direction. So Bradley Beal, gone. Kristaps Porzingis, gone. Kyle Kuzma here. 4 years, $102 million extension over here to stay in the nation's capital, stay in DC. We'll see if the Wizards do that as well. But we also got Jordan Poole. So we have Jordan Poole. We have Kyle Kuzma. We have Tyus Jones. We've got Bilal Coulibaly, first-round pick this year. We got Johnny Davis, last year's first-round pick, Denny Avdia, Corey Kispert. It's a pretty young team, K-Dot. What do you make of the new direction of our Washington Wizards?
It's fun. So I got to listen to the podcast you did with, what was our guest's name? I forget totally. I'm just blanked. Max. Good old Max.
Good old Max.
And I love that episode. Great job, guys. And fuck everybody to watch that video instead of when I'm on here. So beyond that,
Max killed it.
He killed it. Y'all straight killed it. But no, it feels good. It feels good in the sense of it actually feels like there's some sort of direction happening. There feels like there's a plan, right, in place, that they're working towards something. I will admit 100% that I was all systems go for the most part, with a few caveats, because I know you haven't really talked about since the Bradley Beal trade and all that. I haven't been on here to do it to talk really about that in full. Mm-hmm. But I feel as though everything, the Kyle Kuzma thing at first was the only one that had me scratch my head just a moment, because I thought that we were going in the full send. Fuck it. It's
same here, by the way, just to be clear. When he came back, I was like, huh.
Yeah, it was a little. That was the one thing I didn't think was going to happen. If I had the list going into this offseason, Kuz, KP, or Beal, the one I felt strongest about not coming back was probably Kuzma. Right. Because I thought that he was going to get paid somewhere else to do that. But I guess the deals weren't quite what they needed to be for him, or he just liked what we had to offer. And the deal itself feels, here's what I'll say. It feels like a Ernie Grunfeld player, but not for Ernie Grunfeld prices. I feel like Ernie would have paid him more. So I'm okay with it. And I just feel as though this team overall is just, if you had to use any phrase or anything to describe, is untapped potential. Mm-hmm. We don't quite know what's there. And that's okay with me. Is you got a bunch of guys that are kind of proving who it is they're going to be in this league, and they're all kind of together. It's the Jordan Poole, absolute dog shit year last year. Most people would attribute it to getting his ass whooped by Draymond. I still think it was probably Jordan's fault. And now he's here to shoot 40 times a game.
Welcome, Jordan Poole.
Welcome, Jordan. Just don't get out of line with people, man. I think it's starting to make sense what you probably said, and you had to kind of know something was going to happen when it did. Also, defend yourself. Just let a man wail on you like that. Put your hands up.
Once again, welcome Jordan Poole.
But Jordan, like, here's the thing: is that he's got the prime opportunity to see who it is that he's going to be. Because before last season, I mean, he was an integral part in the Warriors in their last championship, and where it is that it looked like he was on the upswing. And then after the Draymond thing, it just was like, what the hell is going on? And I know that a lot of it had to do with the playing time that was there. Like, he was coming off the bench, and I'm sure he didn't love doing that. And I think arguably up until we saw enough of his play last year, going into last year, there was even by the end of the season, I still think he should have started over Klay Thompson. To be completely honest, but there's like Klay's been a shell.
There's a chemistry about the Warriors, right? Like, it's Steph, it's Klay, it's Draymond. Like,
Klay's
that's the core. You're not. Ooh,
Klay.
Okay, that's not the point. Okay, anyway.
But ever since the injury that Klay had, he's just the defense is not the same, and everything else he's doing off ball is not the same. He can still spot up a shoot if he's feeling it, but beyond that, I mean, he's fairly limited in everything he's doing. And I say that as a person that's really loved Klay Thompson. I just think the injuries changed him. So I think that a lot of that had to do with I think a lot of the issues in Golden State was because of the playing time between the guys that have gotten them the championships and the young upstarts. And that was a thing. And now here in Washington, there's nobody that's going to take any fucking minutes or shots away from this dude. So whatever it is that he wants to be as a player to kind of mold how he is going to be as a player, I think this is perfect. You have a guy that showed so much promise and then had something traumatic kind of happen to him, and that would impact somebody. It would impact all of us.
No, fair enough. Kate, I also just, if you can, lower your microphone a little bit, only because it's covering your mouth. I just realized as you were speaking over there. There you are. Much better. Appreciate that. Although it was fun watching your beard move around or make a point like this, and I was just I was enjoying that. But yeah, you're right, because here's one of the things, Kate, and you've harped on it a whole bunch, right? Which is that the Wizards are a fun watch and one of the best forms of entertainment value you can get in the city, right? Yep. You can go to Chinatown, you can get a game for $15-20, and you can watch an offensive show on both sides. And that hasn't changed, just to be clear. Like, Jordan Poole is going to have an opportunity to shine over here. You listen to Paul George on his podcast, and he goes, Jordan Poole is one of those guys that if he gets the chance to take more shots, he could be a superstar in the league. Okay, so there's reason for optimism there. Then you have Kyle Kuzma, who, once again, it's going to be Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma taking a lot of the shots. Tyus Jones led the league in assist-to-turnover ratio. A lot of things to
underrated move.
Yeah, underrated move. A lot of things to like about the direction we're headed, especially from a salary cap perspective. Kyle Kuzma, 4-year, 102. Jordan Poole, I believe, 4 years, 120. Both are actually tradable contracts as you continue to see the cap rise. So it's one of those things where, okay, it's a bit strange. I thought we were trying to tank, maybe not tank, but like, we're okay losing. There's a difference there. We want to develop. We want to look good. Wes Unseld Jr. wants to put out a good team. But if we lost, it's not the end of the world, right? We get higher draft picks. We get to continue improving the team long term. But yeah, to your point, nothing changed in that respect. And now we have a future. I think that's the reason people are super excited about the Wizards now. Not literally right now. We're probably not going to be a great team, but we could be a lot of fun. And again, that assist to turnover ratio from Tyus, Bilal Coulibaly, first round pick, seems like he's going to play some point guard according to the team. That is not necessarily something we all expected when we drafted him, but basically he's like, something you can mold. He's a product you can mold, and he's got a lot of upside. He's still growing quite a bit. Who knows how, who knows how much he's going to continue to grow if he's done. I'm not sure he is, K-Dot. So very excited to see this Wizards team.
This, like I said, untapped potential. I think the difference between this Wizards team and last year's or the year before, for a few years now, we knew the cap, we knew the ceiling for those teams. We knew that there was not, you're making the playoffs at best. You're not doing anything once you're there. And I think with this team is that the expectations are fairly low because we don't know. And when you have these guys that could be this or could be that, it's nice going into a season where you don't know where the ceiling is. The floor, I think everyone's okay with. And that's something that's all right. Like, the floor could be terrible. And if it is, we're in a rebuild. Who gives a shit?
And to your point, you're okay with the floor because the ceiling got raised.
Right.
That is why you're okay with it. If the ceiling stayed the same and the floor dropped, I'm not sure you're okay with that. It is one direction away from mediocrity, sure. But this allows both things. Your range of outcomes increases, and everyone, 100%. That's what you want. You don't want to be stuck in the limited range of outcomes that don't result in a championship. We now have increased our range of outcomes. Any final thoughts here on the Wizards before we move on to the Commanders and optimism there?
I've never seen someone's highlight tape make me fall in love with a player more than Bilal Coulibaly.
Ooh.
He was doing some shit, man. And I was like, whoa.
Pretty cool, right?
Huh?
You know, even Jordan Poole has some pretty cool highlights. If you were to just check him out and be like, whoa, like this dude is sort of a wizard with the ball.
I hate what you did there.
I know, I did too, just to be clear.
Disgusting.
I almost went with the word magician, and then I was like, well, I should have said magician.
The last few weeks, I've been on a bit of basically of apology tour as far as the NBA. I've apologized for my feelings about Nikola Jokic. I was wrong. He's great. I've also come around on Chris Paul. I actually bought his book, or I'm buying it. It has to do who I hated.
What a time to get traded, right? During his book tour.
I didn't like Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole he starts with someone that I don't like, and now, and I'm trying to get him to win me over. The highlights. I just think he makes emotional light-skinned guys look bad.
And that's where this is rooted. Okay, cool.
That's where it's rooted.
No, hey, listen, I appreciate your honesty there. Why don't we go ahead and jump to the Commanders? Where we, sorry, I was going to say something ridiculous. The Washington Commanders are also in sort of we got a young QB. This could be a rebuild, or the young QB could be very, very good. And so a lot of it hinges on Sam Howell and his performance this coming season. The team is being sold, as we had just mentioned, to Josh Harris and his group. That should be taking place in another couple of weeks, at least the vote, and then we'll see when it actually officially gets processed. And the question here, K-Dot, is there room for optimism this season specifically? We're not talking about long-term. We're talking about this season specifically with Sam Howell starting at quarterback. We've got a nice wide receiver room. We've got a good defense, but this is all when we're healthy. So in terms of optimism, K-Dot, where are you at with this?
So where is my optimism?
Where is your optimism? And is it okay? Optimistic? Correct.
Okay. So where is my optimism? You know what? I'm gonna invert these.
I was going to say, please flip them. Please flip them first.
So is it okay to be optimistic? Yes. And I will say this, is that every year we do the same thing as Commanders fans, right? Mm-hmm. And you look across the league, and a lot of teams, all fandoms kind of do the same thing when it comes to the offseason. It's depending on how your season ended, which is unless you're one team that won the Super Bowl, you're usually pretty down about the team as soon as you get out of the season, right? And then it's, all right, well, what are we doing? What are the moves we're going to make? So you look at the draft picks, and you might feel any sort of way about the draft. You might feel any sort of way about free agency. You might feel any sort of way about the guys you lost. But this is around this period of time where you're selling yourself on this team's going to be successful. This is where all of our minds do. Unless you're a Raiders fan, which is just you're shitting on yourself and the team the entire way through.
Shout out James.
Self-loathing. Yeah, there we go. And so I think with Commanders fans especially, if you look at us over the last 20-something years, you had off seasons have been a little different, than they've all sort of led to this not knowing how to feel optimistic or not trusting your optimism. Because it goes from the early Snyder era of big free agent signings. You're like, oh, excited to have this guy there, excited to have that guy there. And then you get an Albert Haynesworth and Adam Archuleta, and you're like, this shit doesn't fucking work. And then you go on to, all right, we're going to build through the draft. And then you have some results with that every once in a while. So it's like, oh, what are we supposed to be? Are we supposed to be the big flash guys? Or we do you need the big splash? Do you just build through the draft? What are you supposed to do? Do you want the middling guys? What is it? I don't know. I think for us right now as fans, what I think that we have to understand this offseason above all other off seasons, and what you say as far as the optimism for this season compared to the future, to me, you can't separate them. And the reason you can't separate them, we get to be this offseason regular football fans for the first time in a very long time, in the sense of we knew, whether it be the gods, karma, whatever, you're not gonna win with Snyder up at the top. Whether it be terrible decisions, the wrong guys that you hire, or like I said, just karma. The God should not award this man with success, right?
Correct.
It should. You look at every season was false optimism. There was never going to be anything good with this guy. And I think we all knew that deep down in the recesses of our heart and our soul, right? We knew that. There is no good that will come of this. That demon has been exorcised from this organization. He's across the pond in fucking Grey London, right? Like, it's okay. I feel as though now, for the first time in so long, that I get to be just a regular fan. And now I get to look through the team and know, hey, I've got just as great a shot as any of the other guys do. And that's a good fucking feeling. And it's a true fucking feeling. And we should exude that. Now, what do I feel about this season itself? I don't got no fucking idea. So Sam Howell it's basically the Sam Howell show, right? Who is he as a quarterback? What are we going to see? We've only seen him in one game. I will say that, like, where it is that his strengths are as far as throwing the ball down the field and who it is that he's going to be targeting in this fucking offense, especially if, like they've been saying, in the inverse of that, what Eric Bieniemy is trying to do as far as the screen game and the short passing, which is something that I always thought was really, really important for this team with guys that can get that yak, right? It's going to be dependent on Sam Howell. The defense, you should feel optimistic about. The roster of guys that are on that defense should lend itself to you thinking we've got a top 5 defense, and you shouldn't be any less than that. And if they are not top 5, it's not your fault. It's somebody else's. It's either the coaching or the playing that didn't get it done, because they should expect to be great.
The number of first-round picks that we have invested on this defense. Ron Rivera, defensive-minded. Jack Del Rio, defensive-minded. Del Rio being a former head coach. Yeah, you have every reason to think this defense should be top 5.
You have to be. Like, I was just reading a stat the other day. I don't know the one specifically, but it was some of that defensive line pressure success rate or whatever. And Jonathan Allen was 3rd in the league behind Myles Garrett and was it Aaron Donald or somebody else? But he was 3rd.
Yeah.
From an interior defensive tackle standpoint, that's insane. Like, he's great. We saw Daron Payne get double-digit sacks from the defensive tackle position. We know where Chase Young got drafted. We know he was defensive rookie of the year. Montez Sweat has shown flashes all the time. One of the fastest defensive linemen ever played in the existence of the NFL. We know what the secondary looks like. These guys should be solid. On offense, it's just, will we have enough to support Sam Howell? And are they coaching him to a point in which, if the defense is doing their job, is he not turning the ball over, and can we protect the lead? If you can have those things run, your expectation should be at a good, nice base level that we should be better than we were last season, at least to some degree. And if that's the case, I think you should feel that way. And anything else is just a disappointment that we should be looking to blame someone for not getting that.
I would absolutely agree. So, look, having a good defense, incredibly important. Obviously, it's volatile. We've seen that with certain teams. But then you get your San Franciscos and now your New York Jets, where, like, they are just solid. And this unit should be that as well. Then you look at the offense. I think we're going to be tough to beat. So from that perspective, I think optimism is warranted, because I think all games are going to be close. They're going to be entertaining. And like you said, looking into the future, I know we said we shouldn't, but if you did, having new ownership and Michael Rubin actually even being quoted as saying Josh Harris is a beast, like he works nonstop, stuff like that. We'll get to that in a moment. You should have every reason to be optimistic about the future. For this season, I think Howell, I like the way he approaches the game. It doesn't seem like he's forcing stuff. It seems like he has the tools to be able to make the plays, but he's also got the correct mentality and the correct approach where he goes, hey, I don't need to take that risk. I can just dump it off right here. That's no problem. Yep. And then you talk about what Eric Bieniemy is bringing to the table, more of that short passing, more of those screens, more of the misdirection, just to make it easier for a young guy, and you have reason to be optimistic. You have reason to be optimistic. Do I think this team makes the playoffs? No. I think that would be an unrealistic expectation. Do I think we'll be fun to watch? Similar to the Wizards, actually. Yes, I do think we'll be fun to watch. You have a young QB where people are excited for him. They're hopeful that he can make something happen. But if he doesn't, not the end of the world, right? We move on. We continue our search. What else is new? That's all we've been doing. And so give the kid a chance. And for that reason, it is at the very least exciting. And based on last year's Dallas game, you do have reason for optimism. That's where I stand on it, K-Dot.
You're 100%. And I love the way you put that right there near the end. I think where we should be looking at as far as a baseline more than anything is this team entertaining to watch, and are they supremely frustrating? I would like to see that to me is a success. You know how aggravated I was during the Taylor Heinicke era because I knew there were just certain things he couldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
You know my frustration with Carson Wentz. I won't go into any.
Actually, I don't know your frustration.
Shut up!
I don't think you had any.
Goddamn asshole! And now he's killing animals. People hating him. The one thing you had going for you, Carson,
boy.
People might have liked you, and now you're making them all hate you.
It just speaks to the level of awareness of the guy on and off the field now.
Like, hey, I've been wrong about a lot of things. Nikola Jokic, Chris Paul, hopefully Jordan Poole, and I'm probably going to put the Carson Wentz thing in there. Probably. I'm not completely solidified on it. But yeah, I think this team should be entertaining to watch. And I think that we should be in every game this season. I think it'd be a disappointment if we weren't. And that to me is a good litmus, is that we might not be there in the sense of if you look at this team and have we had a lot of games that have meant stuff to us or meaningful games that we played well? Probably not. And even the meaningful games that we have gotten to make you the wild card in a I think this team is primed to be pesky. I'd love to see us be like the Lions, but better from like 2 years ago or a year ago.
From 2 years. Oh, okay. Got it.
Trending
2 years ago wasn't good. Yeah.
Right. But even that team from 2 years ago, it was a scary team. And we all knew, I think everybody was in agreement. It was like, hey, these guys are going to be something to watch. Like next year, they could take it. They could do something. And that's what I want to see. I want to see that we can look at this team and be like, hey, dudes, we're set.
Mm-hmm. Well, so okay. So in your Lions example, I think Dan Campbell was the guy providing the juice, right? Like, so who is sort of that equivalent, or is it a collection of individuals for you that's providing that level of juice of like, okay, we maybe are losing some games, but man, pretty excited about what's coming ahead.
It's got to be Eric Bieniemy. I mean,
I think that's fair. I think that's a good call. Right? It's a good call.
We hear the stories coming out of Ashburn. We've seen for ourselves the video at certain mini camp or whatever of him holding the guys accountable. We haven't seen a rah-rah guy here in Washington as far as on those lines, other than the dudes that they bring in on defense sometimes, like Warren Sapp, right? So like this to me, I think Bieniemy ends up being that lightning rod. And if we're looking overall at this team, other than at the beginning of last season, the unit that needed to step up has been the offense. And if we're going to look at what needs to happen for us to take the next step, it needs to be that the offense plays better. And if Eric Bieniemy is going to be that dude in the lightning rod, then we should be going in the right direction.
And by all accounts, like, again, Howell, I think the really nice thing about a guy as young as he was last year, just being a rookie, his decision-making, I thought, was quite good. Yeah, he had one or two errant throws and maybe poor decisions, but what is your expectation of a rookie starting his first game against your arch rival? Right. And he ended up playing very, very well overall. So you bring that level of decision-making that's inherent within him, because Lord knows it wasn't coached when you look at Heinicke and Wentz, right? So he just has it. And then you put it with a guy like Bieniemy, who's specifically trying to make the game easy. That is where I'm hammering the optimism, right? Where it is, look, there is a guy that is trying to make sure the game is simple, and you're already giving it to a guy who looks to make the game simple, at least off of the one game. We'll find out more in preseason. I'm sure Howell's going to play. And then we'll find out more early on in the regular season. Cautious optimism for sure. It's actually no caution. Throw caution to the wind there. It's optimistic. Yeah. And just enjoy.
This is not a season to be cautious.
Yeah. Enjoy
This should be a season that we know some decisions are being made for the future run of this team. Set expectations, set lines for what it is you think you need to see from this organization, because I'll tell you, no one's safe after this fucking year. We one of the topics,
which given we're not in the organization, is pretty fun, right? Because it could mean well, no, I mean, just from like you could get the right turnover, right? That's all you're looking for if it were to be required. Yes,
I mean that's the thing. There's so
same thing with the Wizards.
There's so many dudes that have contracts that are going to be up this year, who's coming back, who's not. You look at the coaching staff. Other than Eric Bieniemy, everybody else has had a long enough leash here to say, hey, we're either retaining you or we're fucking not.
Yeah.
This is the season of expectations. The quarterback situation is here because you guys have put us in this situation.
Oh, you're talking about from the coaching staff perspective. This
everyone,
is the season of expectations. Yes.
Everyone. Jason Wright, all of you. This is your audition for the future. What are you going to do?
All right, we leave that to you guys. I'm looking forward to some of the comments on this video. What are you going to do? Let's go ahead and talk about the white party. Michael Rubin had a 4th of July birthday. I believe it was a birthday party, right? K-Dot, or is it just an annual 4th of July thing?
It's an annual.
Just an annual 4th of July thing? Okay. Anyway, star-studded guest list. I mean, every celebrity I know, and I don't know too many, but every single one I knew was there, which was pretty crazy, including Josh Harris, again, Commanders owner to be. He was spotted talking to James Harden. Of course, Josh Harris owns the Philadelphia 76ers. As of right now, James Harden's most recent team is the Philadelphia 76ers. So I don't know if they were talking shop or if it was just like, James, how you doing, bud? And he's like, I'm doing well, Josh. How are you? And then they moved on. I have no idea. But it was pretty cool, K-Dot, for me to be like, you know what? Our new owner's hip enough to be at this thing where I know all the celebrities. And that's all I got for you, K-Dot. I thought it was cool. I don't know what else I really want to say about it other than, hey, it wasn't Dan there.
No, but here's the thing. Do I think
our owner was at the white party, K-Dot? Let's talk about it.
Yeah. I think Dan could have been on this list years back.
Years back, absolutely.
And here's the other thing, is that you're new to the white party thing.
I am very new to the white party. For those that don't know, this is my first ever exposure. I didn't even know who Michael Rubin was until I saw this.
So
context. Go ahead.
So the thing with the Michael Rubin white party is a specific white party that happens in the Hamptons. You've been to the Hamptons, right?
I've been to the Hamptons.
Yeah,
yes.
We know a lot of fucking well-to-do white people. We've both been to the Hamptons at some point, right? So
although mine was a well-to-do Indian guy. Show me where I should be.
Fucking
right.
Same goddamn thing. Certain goddamn point. Fucking tech.
The Supreme Court ruled on affirmative action.
Tech
no,
or
I'm just
finance
kidding.
on it.
Go ahead.
Tech or finance on it.
It's tech. It's tech.
Exactly. So,
and I'm learning about finance. Go ahead.
So the white parties have always existed. And I remember like the first white parties that were a big deal were Diddy's white parties, right? And everybody would sort of be there, but getting on the guest list was a huge thing. It's like the Rockefeller brunch is one of the most exclusive things to get to. But the Michael Rubin white party is mainly for the optics of holy shit. And the fact that if you know Michael Rubin, it's sort of like, oh my God, like this dude knows everybody. He's the dude that people call, hey, I need some help figuring out this investment here, this investment there. And that's what he does. It's just his thing.
So he's Fanatic CEO and he's the call you make when you're figuring out your investments. Is that right?
He's the dude in the know. He's the dude in the know. And the thing is that it's a mutual benefit for him to have the biggest stars and celebrities in the world there, because it increases his influence in the sense of
his follower count on Twitter shot through the fucking roof. I need to check where it's at now.
It happens every year. Every year that there's a white party, it happens. What doesn't usually happen is a well-edited fucking with a budget goddamn movie trailer for the fucking white party, which was nuts. But Josh
Harris
picked
up 25,000 followers. He was at 69 or something like that. He's now 91. Okay, so like 22. But like that's crazy. Off of just one video that published 2 days ago.
Yeah, one video published 2 days ago. One video published 2 days ago with every fucking influencer and celebrity in existence tweeting. Or
when you put it that way, he should have an even higher follower count. Yeah. Okay. This guy must suck. No, just kidding.
He should probably have more. I mean, are you on Threads yet?
No, I'm not on Threads yet. I've heard a lot about it though.
I shut my whole page down. It's all private. I'm trying to figure out my plan of attack.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
But Threads had 50 mil in the first day. Rubin, get your numbers up, homie. Just saying. Like, look, it's.
You know why I love this podcast? Just to be clear, you can go in on a dude that had every single celebrity at his 4th of July, and he's not safe. You're just like, dude, be better.
I'm hating for the bleachers. Hey.
No one's
it's. I'd rather see him at that party after we win a championship.
Oh, so you're thinking, I don't know. Josh, decline the invitation.
No. You can't decline the invitation. That's an impossible.
You don't think a single person declined that invitation?
There is one person that did it, Dave Portnoy. It's all over YouTube. There are tons.
Did he decline it, or was he not invited?
Oh, he's banned now, but he asked for a +1, got denied, and then didn't go.
You're not getting invited back after that.
You're done.
Right. Okay.
You can't, if you get invited to the Michael Rubin White Party, you go to the fucking White Party. I don't give a fuck if you like or don't like the opportunity to make money.
What if you got a letter that said you were explicitly not invited, but it also dropped the address? Like, do not be here at.
I think that's kind of a flex. It's a little bit of a flex. It's they thought about you enough. It's unlike Stephen A.
But they
Smith,
also give you the details of it. Like, what do you?
Well, you heard about Stephen A.
I did not hear about Stephen A. That he wasn't invited?
Yeah. But
I actually think that's fair. I think he has every right to have been there. Are you kidding me? Did you see the Grant Williams? Like, Grant Williams is there and everyone is just toasting him. Did you see the tweet about Jay-Z interacting with Grant Williams? And probably what the interaction was is Jay-Z asking Grant when the next round of bacon wrapped scallops is coming.
That's fucked up.
I literally spit my water out. I could not believe when I read that.
That's fucked up.
It is.
But look, man, white parties have existed for a very, very ever since I was a kid. I remember hearing about Diddy's white parties, and before that, they used to happen in Paris. And it's cool that you have somebody that like owns the team that's getting there. It doesn't really reflect on whether or not he'll be a good owner or a bad owner. I will tell you this: I don't like having a bad owner that's also in the limelight constantly. The combination of those two things is not something I want. So what I will say is this: Josh, you've done nothing negatively to any of us, and we are very, very happy that you're coming here to be our savior for our organization we care so much about. That being said, you just put a little bit of extra pressure on yourself. And I don't know if you realize it, but you did. Subconsciously, for everybody, you put a little bit of pressure on yourself. It's kind of like the Jerry Jones thing. If you're not winning, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Just shut up. we don't need to hear from you, or we don't want to see you all over social media all the fucking time. I don't want to have conversation about you unless we're winning. So that's where I'm at on it.
Okay. Yeah. And to Josh's credit, he was photographed there. He wasn't like, right. and his back is facing, like, the photo was of Harden. And you just see that he's talking to Josh Harris.
So I'll say this. I don't think anybody has him quoted anywhere.
Correct. That's the other thing. So he doesn't really talk.
That's a plus. You're good.
So really, all we were doing with this segment was parsing out how we feel about Josh Harris. And I think largely good.
I feel the only thing I'm really parsing out is how did white people kind of take over the white party? That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. Like, it became, it was a Diddy thing.
Right.
And I think Diddy used to do it in the Hamptons. But now Rubin's got to be in charge of it. I don't like the direction we're going.
Well, I don't know that Rubin's was necessarily in charge of it, but the video gave it so much exposure. And it was a pretty dope video that now people, like, I didn't even know about it. For example, now I associate.
How do you not know about the Michael Rubin White Party?
Dude, you know me. I am oblivious to many, many things, just generally speaking.
I'm just saying, I know how much you like white stuff. That's probably really prevalent at those parties.
I'm waiting for my shirt, by the way.
Huh?
Waiting for my shirt. And so is Tony. By the way, Tony wants a shirt. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I gotta.
That might be this week's installment of the Common Mailbag.
Well, I lost half my goddamn clients over the last 3 months, so I got time.
And a new client.
Oh, you know what I just realized? I want to do the white sniffing thing out of camera, but out of frame. But I don't think, because my screen is lowered, because we were having a problem with me looking at the sight lines properly here. So I think I'm like here, but I thought I was there because I can't see the bottom of the screen. I don't know why I'm talking about this.
Should we just get to the comment mailbag?
Let's do that.
Is that where the energy is? Okay, cool.
I'm going to drink some of this and let's do that.
Let's do that. All right, cool. So we got 2 different videos worth of comment mailbags for you guys. The initial one, Washington Wizards Bradley Beal getting traded, was a question mark, and then he did get traded. Beginning with Tony. Shout out Tony. Keep doing this, District Divided, for family. And damn right the OGs watch until the end. Anything less would be uncivilized. Completely agree with that, Tony. And please sell the A-Train shirts. So that is one buyer. I will not buy it. I just expect to have it. Okay, and I need to make that very clear, K-Dot.
Just imagine A-Train at the white party.
It'd do numbers.
So that'd be amazing. That'd be fucking amazing.
A-Train would have a good time at the white party.
With
the shirt, it's just all white. Even the font is white, so they can't even see that's what's said. But then when the lights go down,
is here. Give me them white lines. Pull on the white lines. Bigger rap scouts, Grant Williams. Bring them over. I need them.
We move on to Vindo. Beal to the Suns. Crazy. Looking forward to getting closer to the NFL season. I know this is off topic, but what do you think about the 2024 college football playoff expansion? Kid, any thoughts on that?
They're trying to maintain relevance and losing every year. So I don't really give a shit about college football. I hope it ceases to exist soon until they can really figure out how to get these players paid. It feels like slavery. Yeah.
You don't think NIL's changed it enough?
Not enough. Until the universities themselves are paying the students that are making the money for these programs, I don't feel right about it.
Now, I will say this, just in answering the question from the pure football perspective, I would agree that there is a certain degree of exploitation going on. It used to be much worse just a few years ago. It's cool seeing the playoff expand, getting more teams in there, like, because you're gonna end up watching those games. You could get some upsets. People love the NCAA tournament, for example. I'm not saying put it out to 64, but 8 could be cool. That's where I stand on it, Vindo. From an entertainment standpoint, it is fun, and it does give some of these players more chance on the national stage to be able to perform and increase their draft stock.
That's why I said as far as it's them trying to maintain more relevance. It's
a money football, grab, but it's fun.
It's more football. It's more excitement. It's things that people are going to tune into. Yeah,
because whenever you say money grab, you got to realize, where is it coming from? It's coming from us, right? So like, there's demand for it. Like, so I actually think it would be cool. And then we have Matt Regan. Shout out Matt Regan. More like, where's Brad? Am I right? Just a bit of a throwback. Did you? We could probably publish it.
Context clues, motherfucker.
We could probably publish that as a short.
Oh, can't do it.
Fuck is Brad? The fuck is Brad? Who the fuck is Matt? There's a question.
Really?
Yeah. Moving on to the next video. Washington Wizards blow it up. So the trade did occur, and this is when Max came on, and appreciate you again, Max, for coming on. And even jumping into the comment mailbag himself to respond. Now, here's the thing about YouTube is it used to just say the name that you want, but now it's the tag. So, for example, this one is at XD_Zaytoven3154. I'm going to need people to fix these because otherwise I'm reading some ridiculous stuff. But
get more ridiculous, people.
He writes, Gallo and Muscala are going to help the development of Vooch and Jay Huff as stretch bigs. Hopefully Denny and Bilal are the same player, but I'm liking the Eurobasket themed team. Appreciate the comment there, to which Max replies, honestly, if Bilal only reaches Denny's level, it's a miss in my eyes. I think he has the potential to be an absolute menace on defense. Kate, I think this is a good opportunity for you to tell us a bit more about what you liked about Bilal Coulibaly's highlight reel.
Explosiveness. Explosive, and he's getting bigger. So, like, he shot up like 2 feet in a year and a half or some shit. The motherfucker is still growing. What he feels like to me, and I know this is going to sound ridiculous to say, but Giannis, like, in the sense of we have no idea where this kid's ceiling is at all.
That's fun.
And he was second fiddle to Victor, for the team that they played on.
Could be taller than Victor.
Maybe. I mean, maybe.
What if actually just never stops? It's like 11 feet. We're like, we'll
die at 25 years old.
Yeah, we need to make
die really early. No, I just think completely unknown. And if he can learn the way he's learning, and the way that certain guys talk about him, the dude just feels instinctively good. And I think if the only thing that concerns me is that in Washington we don't necessarily do a great job developing guys.
That's fair. Although you're right. Let's move on to Johnny Consor. Shout out Johnny. Appreciate the comment here. Great start to the rebuild. A+ for Wingers so far. Another Wizards fan that is super excited about what's happening right now. Because once again, we have a lower floor, but we now have a higher ceiling, which is very enjoyable. And shout out to Michael Winger for making these. These are take your medicine trades because of those contracts, specifically Brad's. So, yeah.
It wasn't his fault that they put a stupid fucking no trade clause to him.
Yeah, but then you have a bunch of fans being like, Michael Winger's a fucking idiot. It's like, what is he supposed to do about that? That was not
had
his
the no trade
contract.
Clause.
Exactly. That was not his contract.
I think Tommy Shepard did a lot of things good. It was all undone with the no trade clause.
I would agree with that. I would agree. And then we have at Mr. Abundance 444. Having a Serbian is always a good thing. And that is in reference to second round pick, Tristan Vukovic, who will be featuring in the Summer League for the Washington Wizards. And they tip off tomorrow against the Indiana Pacers. So if you want to see some of these young guys in action, they will be present, including Johnny Davis, last year's first round pick, who played a little bit at the end. I think he even had a 20-point game, if I remember correctly, near the tail end of the season. And so that was the comment mailbag. This is District Divided, DC Sports Podcast, more specifically Commanders and now essentially Wizards Podcast. I am Amit. That is K. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like the video. Please share it with your friends. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so that you guys know when we drop new episodes. We really appreciate you guys for listening as always. And please comment. We love interacting with the comment mailbag and you guys in there. So enjoy your weekend. And until next time, take it easy after the pod begins right now.
Can we do one after the pod? I know you had a hard stop.
Oh, I very much have a hard stop, but I needed to get this real quick. So I was at the barbecue at Murnal's place. Shout out Murnal, shout out Vikram for an absolutely awesome time. Food was amazing. And as always, the banter was there, including Chris Zabaloyev claiming a couple ridiculous things. First off, he hates Joe Burrow. Just hates him. Okay, absolutely hates him. He oscillated from he's terrible, he's not good, he's good, he's not great. And it just sort of, but it culminated with who's the better quarterback in real life, Joe Burrow or Jalen Hurts, to which he goes as Jalen Hurts, and it's not even close.
That's just a dumb thing to say.
It is a dumb thing to say. I just needed to get that out there because I've been holding this to myself for far too long.
It's just a really dumb thing to say. But I will say,
like, come on.
You remember the Chappelle Show bit about the haters ball?
Haters. Of course.
The brothers Zab are Hall of Famers in that. The amount of times I've had to, I could shoot better than Steph Curry. Oh, shut the fuck up.
That's true. Confidence is not running low in that family.
No. But there are some wild takes. And the thing is that what ends up happening is that they say things for so long that are so wrong that eventually after 10 to 15 years, they're right once or twice, or someone gets old enough that they're right.
Oh, I see.
And then they feel completely vindicated and do it again.
Because they were always correct at that point.
Right.
Oh, gosh.
That's the method. So there's some conversations that you're just like, okay.
I mean,
I'm not. Yeah, no, that's. Now you got me actually thinking about it, but no, it's not.
No, listen, Jalen had a great Super Bowl. He had a great Super Bowl. He's got an amazing team around him, and he's made the most of it. But
this is unfair to say, but if you take away the quarterback sneak, what's Jalen Hurts this year?
I think it's fair, right? Now that's included in quarterback play, right? His ability to do that to the point where fans were even like, they should ban it, right? That's how good he is. And I give credit to Jalen for it. But Burrow's, I mean, come on. And he also thinks Josh Allen is light years better than Joe Burrow as well. Like he's a Joe Burrow hater.
Say that last part again.
He thinks what? He thinks Josh Allen is light years ahead of Joe Burrow.
That's also fucking stupid.
Like the level of hatred of this guy is crazy. Like how Burrow went to Buffalo and fucked him up. Their teams played each other in January. It was a playoff game on the road, and it wasn't close. Dude went to LSU for college. You would think that the cold would bother him. Not at all. Not at all. The dude is
cool.
Joe Cool. Anyway, the idea of hating Joe Burrow is just ridiculous.
I understand that. But that's you're being a pure hater, and I get that.
That's
what
I mean. The pure aspect of it. You could just hate on anybody. That's normal. But then when you start saying things like that,
it's jealousy.
I think that's what it is, right?
It's you want to be Joe Burrow.
It was funny because then literally the next day the Michael Rubin video drops. Joe's over there.
Name one white guy that doesn't want to be Joe Burrow.
Zab definitely wants to be Joe.
There's
You're right.
The coolest
that
white
must
guy.
be where it is.
He's the coolest. Name a cooler white guy. John Bernthal, maybe. But beyond it, name a cooler white dude. It's Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I'm actively thinking about it right now. I don't know that I could. That's good for the common mailbag. If you were to take time to think about it, I'm sure you could come up with a few, but like, I mean, he's pretty fucking cool.
He's really fucking cool. Universally cool. And can walk into any other room and be cool. What white guy doesn't want that?
True. But what person in general doesn't want that? I mean, that's just a great quality to have.
I mean, I already got that.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Not going to argue with that. So when are these A-Train shirts coming out? Tony's wondering.
I got to design them. I
thought you had a design.
I didn't
or
like
were
it.
you busy playing the role of A-Train and forgot?
Well, here's the thing. So like I promise you
to design the A-Train shirt, I need to be A-Train.
No, I'm afraid of cocaine. So
I don't do coke.
You do copious amounts.
No, I do not.
All right, fine. You call it something else to make yourself feel better. It is what it is. I'm definitely afraid of cocaine because I know I would love it. I've talked about this.
Cocaine in New Orleans, same bucket for you.
Same bucket. Yeah, I would. Okay. I would really, really love it. Now I need to do a redesign to make it look really good.
Love it. Like you were on a different planet when you were talking about that for that moment.
Oh, dude, I fantasize about doing coke all the time. I've had dreams about it. Like, it just everything in my life.
Don't you think at this point it might just be a letdown?
No.
Despite the fact that you fantasize about it's going to even exceed that.
Yeah.
Good for you. All right.
Yeah. Like if the doctors told me, hey, you've got like a month or two to live.
Oh, then that's exclusively what you're doing, I'm going to say.
So bump that timeline up to about a week tops.
Yeah.
Yeah, blaze of glory, man.
Let's just expedite this process, but it's going great.
I'm going to go through the gates of hell backwards in a stolen Lamborghini on fire with coke all around me.
Okay, I got a thumbnail idea. No. Could you imagine?
Oh, man. 3 big booty escorts in the passenger seat.
You know what? This is the perfect time for the hard stop. Thank you.
Oh, I was going to say, the other thing I fucked up with that, not just a shirt. I was supposed to give you my solo pod of my movie theater experience. I still haven't done that.
I'm still waiting for that.
And I hope, I will get it to you. I promise.
It's going off 3 weeks, and you've just been doing a whole lot of, and you've been texting me. You've been texting me like I've been doing nothing on it. I'm just around, but not like.
Oh, today I was. I mean, last week I was fucking in Pennsylvania.
K-Dot's been very, very busy. I'm messing with you. All right, guys. Well, we will see you next week. Until then, take it easy.
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.